Hey, it's Marco, and today I'm going to talk to you about a platform that I recently tried, which is called TribeFunding. So it's quite different from other platforms that I tried in the field of crowdlending, for example, peer-to-peer lending platforms, where you can invest in loans from one platform. This one is very different because it offers investors to invest in different investment opportunities on other platforms from one single account. So investment opportunities that are originated by other platforms, but from one account on TribeFunding. So we are going to see what is TribeFunding, what returns you can expect from investing on the platform. Also, we're going to see, is it safe to actually invest on this platform? And finally, I will show you, of course, to get started with the platform and also tell you about my own results with TribeFunding. So first, let's talk about the platform itself. So as I already mentioned before, it's quite different from other platforms in the field. The platforms allow you to invest in investment opportunities that are originated by other platforms. So for example, peer-to-peer lending platforms or real estate crowdfunding platform as well. We'll see that when we talk about all the platforms that are actually present on TribeFunding. So the company itself was launched in 2020, so it's relatively a new platform in the field. Also important to note that you can invest from just 100 euros, so that's made it really interesting. We also see that later inside this review, but for example, some platforms that list their projects on TribeFunding, they have minimums of 1,000 euros, and therefore this minimum, it's really interesting because it allows you to invest with lower sums of money and therefore diversify your portfolio. In terms of the platforms that you will actually find on TribeFunding, they have over 15 platforms at the moment in 14 countries, and they are platforms that are very well known. We'll go to the full list later in this review as well, but you have platforms like Lender or Razors, so very well-known real estate crowdfunding platforms that are actually present on TribeFunding. Now let's talk a bit about returns on the platforms. So of course, on such platforms, your returns will completely depend on which project you will actually invest in through TribeFunding. But on average, from what they actually advertised, you can get returns of 9.2%. And from what I've been looking at the deals that are actually present on the platform, you will get returns between 6 and 15%. So that actually made sense to advertise some average returns for investors of 9.2%. Note that most projects are also available starting from 30 days. So you will actually find also some short-term projects on the platform TribeFunding. And still in terms of returns, it's important to mention that the minimum investment on the platform is of 100 euros. So that makes it really interesting, and you will get access to platforms that otherwise you would maybe not have considered. Like Razors, for example, as they have a minimum investment of 1,000 euros on their platform. So that might be quite high for most investors. However, you can actually invest on projects from Razors via TribeFunding with just 100 euros of minimum investment. So that's really nice and will give you a much more diversified portfolio using this platform. So now let's move on to the safety of the funds of investors on TribeFunding, which is a very important question. As for all those platforms that I review and that I add to my own portfolio, I always check 3 different points. First one is the platform itself. So I check what they actually do to make sure that the investors' money is safe. Then I check the company which is behind the platform, who is on their team, and also is the company actually a real company registered where they say it should be registered. And finally, I also check the loan originators or project originators. Here, of course, it will be the different platforms that will be on TribeFunding. So first, about the platform itself. Let's see what they actually do to make sure that the funds from the investors are actually safe on the platform. There are 4 points that I wanted to mention here. The first thing is that there are not every platforms out there on TribeFunding. As you can tell, there are only 15 of them. That's because they also do some very strict audit process on each platform that want to be listed on TribeFunding. So they don't just add that platform just to make money. They actually do a very strict audit process. You can actually find more about that on their website. They actually detail it very well. So they actually check everything about the platform, like their financials, before actually adding the whole platform to their website. Then there is what they call a two-level due diligence process on every project that is listed on the platform. This means that even if a platform is approved by TribeFunding and appears on their website, doesn't mean that all projects from this platform will be on TribeFunding. The first there is a check, of course, done by the platform before they actually put a project on their website. But then TribeFunding applies another layer of auditing and due diligence on every project before they actually list it on their platform. That's why there are two levels of actually due diligence, and that's an extra layer of security for your funds on the platform, meaning that you will only invest in projects that has been kind of verified twice by two different platforms. Then they also have skin in the game, meaning that they actually invest in every project that you will find on their platforms. This really shows that they actually believe in the projects that they put on the platform, and that also means that you will only find high quality projects on TribeFunding. And finally, they also have a lot of projects, over 90% at the moment of the projects on the platform actually come with a collateral. Meaning that if anything goes wrong with a project that you invested in, there will be this collateral here to probably be sold and therefore give the money back to investors. So that's another layer of security for investors that will invest on projects via TribeFunding. Then let's move on to the company itself of TribeFunding. So first I checked that there were a real company that were registered, and that's actually the case. I also checked the team, so it was really easy for me to find information about their team and who is present on the team. So as usual, I analyzed the most important or the key people of the team. So first, their CEO. So he has a lot of experience in the field of running a business, as is the founder of Booking Group, which is one of the largest travel broker in the world. There is also Ed Sanders, who is another co-founder of the company and the project manager at TribeFunding. He has a lot of experience in the peer-to-peer lending space, as he created a platform for a lending company. So definitely very good team of professionals that are running the company. Now let's talk about the origination of the projects that are present on TribeFunding. So here, of course, it's really the other peer-to-peer lending and real estate crowdfunding companies that are present on the platform. You can really find a list of all of them on their website. They, of course, constantly add new originators to the platform. But I just wanted to say here that you can really find some companies that are really well known in the field, like Razors or Lande, so companies that I have in my own portfolio. But TribeFunding also really helped me to find companies that probably I would never have heard about otherwise. Like, for example, Clear, which is one of the largest peer-to-peer lending company in Bulgaria. And that really is interesting because it allows you to really diversify your current portfolio without actually having to discover by yourself all those lending companies. So as I mentioned before, you will get a very diversified portfolio if you invest on TribeFunding because they have a lot of different project originators. So to get the actual list, I will of course put a link to their website just below this video, so you can really find the list of the latest originators that are present on TribeFunding. Now that we talk about the safety of your funds on the platform, let's see how you actually invest on TribeFunding. So first, it's very easy. You just need to open an account, and including the identity verification process, this was done in less than 5 minutes. So it was really easy to open an account on the platform. Then once you have an account, you can simply deposit funds via a simple bank transfer. And after that, you are ready to invest in projects that are offered on the platform. So you can just browse projects. You will see different projects from different platforms. You can sort of filter by the type of projects. And once you find a project that you are interested in, you can click on the button to get more details. And then you will simply be able to invest from just one click. So again, note that the minimum investment is from just 100 euros, and it applies to all platforms, even the platforms that have higher minimum investments on their own website, like Razors, for example. You can invest on all platforms with a minimum of 100 euros. Also note that for now there are no auto-invest functions, and there is a secondary market coming soon on the platform. That's what they told me when I spoke to the team. So that will be very nice because it will allow you to easily invest in already existing projects, so projects that are already running on their respective platforms. So even if you are not, coming and there are a lot of new projects, it will allow you to invest in shares of already running projects, and sometimes also at a discount. So that will be a very nice opportunity on the platform. So to sum up, what do I think about TribeFunding? Definitely a very interesting platform, completely different from other platforms that I usually talk about on this channel, because it allows you to invest in investment opportunities that are originated by other platforms. And therefore, from one single account, you can get a very diversified portfolio. And also I need to note that they do an excellent job in all the safety aspects. For example, by checking every project that comes to the platform, so that really give a nice curation of projects that are present on other platforms. So in which case you should actually use TribeFunding? If you are just starting out and you don't want to bother with opening an account on 10 different platforms, TribeFunding is an excellent opportunity to really get started. If you already have a portfolio, like it's my case, it's really nice to expand in platforms that have like a too high minimum investment, like Razors, for example. 1,000 euro can be a lot for a lot of people. So it allows you to invest on those platforms via their website. And also it allows you to discover some platform that you would not have even heard about without TribeFunding, like Clear in Bulgaria, for example, that I mentioned before. So that's a very nice opportunity to use TribeFunding to diversify your existing portfolio. So that's what I think about TribeFunding. If you want to learn more about the platform, I put 2 links just below the video. One will get you directly to the platform. So if you want to, for example, learn more about, for example, their process to select projects on the platform or just to open an account, you can click on this link. I also put a link to my website, to my up-to-date review of the platform that I update every month with my latest results. So if you want to learn more about my own results, you can just click on this link just below the video. Of course, if you have any questions about TribeFunding or about investing in general, just leave your comments below the video. And that being said, thank you again for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.